Okay, so my face is already primed and moisturized, excuse me. The foundation that I'm using is that Buxom foundation. You can find it at Ulta, and it's a really light filling foundation on your face, which is great for the spring, summertime, and it has SPF 30, which I love. And what I'm doing here is I like to just take it and kind of dab it all over my face, and that's what I did. Those are what those spots are. And then I'm just using a foundation brush to kind of work it in all over my face. I usually start with the outer edges of my face, and then I kind of just go in because I like to make sure that the outer edges are blended in, and then I'm kind of just going along my eye to make sure that I get it in there. I sometimes put it on my lids, and then I sometimes don't with my foundation. It kind of just depends. And this foundation, like I said, is light to medium. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a fuller coverage, you definitely need like 2 coats. But what I'm going over now with my Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles, and this is by Maybelline. This is a huge YouTube favorite. And honestly, I love it. I think it works really great. It's affordable and it has good coverage. And here I'm just highlighting all the parts that I want to really pop out and make a little bit bigger. And what I like to do here is kind of align it along my mouth all the way to like my cheekbone, but usually kind of just depends on what mood I'm in. I sometimes do that after the contour or before. It just really depends. And here I'm just using my stippling. I'm using just a fluffy brush. It's actually from e.l.f. to blend that in, and I kind of went over that because I didn't want to take too long on this video, but that's just what I did. I worked it into my skin. I didn't use any other tool. I just used that, and the reason why I'm going in with a little bit more concealer there is because I'm breaking out a little bit. It's the week before, and at least that's what I'm telling myself, so I'm hoping that those go away soon. And then here I'm just making sure I'm bringing it all down my jawline and especially into my hairline, because you just want your makeup to look seamless. You don't want them to look like it has an end point. So here I'm going in with my Wet n Wild contour palette, and I really love this palette. I mean, as you can see, I already hit pan on both sides. I'm just taking the white powder and I'm setting all of my foundation and concealer into my face right now. And then I just take a big fluffy brush is the best thing you can use to actually set it in. And I like to pat it in before I swirl in my face because I like to make sure the product gets there and is locked in, and I'm not just moving around all that makeup that I just worked to put on my face. So I'm just brushing my eyebrows out a little bit. Not going to do them yet. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm actually going to contour my face with some bronzer, and I'm just using a little e.l.f. stippling brush, and I'm just going to place it on there. But how I like to do it, making that fishy face, it helps me out. If it helps you, then make it, and until you record yourself, you don't know how funny you look until you actually see and watch yourself for yourself. I don't know why I'm doing that with my lips so much. I apologize. Please do not comment and make too much fun of me, but I know I make funny faces, and I'm just working it up into my temples there and making sure it blends all the way into my forehead. Then a little bit more. I just want to really make my cheekbones pop because I have a rounder face, and so I like to use quite a bit of bronzer to kind of help make myself look a little bit slimmer. I'm hoping it helps. I don't know. I think it does because I like that little cut that I'm getting right there, and that's usually just what I go for. And I just really try to make sure that I buff it out well and I work upwards. So I try not to go too far down. I really try to focus on buffing my my bronzer up into my face. So there we go again with the fish face, and then I just go ahead and along my cheekbones. Yep, there we go, and I'm just buffing it in right there. And then I'm also going to just go ahead and take it up along my temples and all the way up into my forehead, just like I did to the other side. Whatever you do to one side, you want to do to the other, kind of like math. Keep it symmetrical? Yes, symmetrical. Goodness, sorry about that. So blending this in is a big deal. You just want it to look as natural as you possibly can. And I'm also going to go in with a fluffy brush later on to make sure that I buff it out also. So this is just me getting the product on my face. I will buff it out a little bit more, but there we go. And I'm just making sure that I get that cut that I like. And then I also take it along my jawline. And just really work it in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that to the other side, of course. And then what I also like to do with my bronzer is I put it underneath my lip just a little bit. And this is supposed to give you the illusion of a bigger, bigger lips, fuller mouth. And it just gives you that shade. And I just take a little bit right underneath and I place it there. And then kind of just do your fishy face, check everything out, make sure it looks okay. Doing my makeup in a different place than I usually do. I'm usually in my restroom, and right now I'm actually on my table, which is kind of weird and different for me. So bear with me looking off. I'm looking into a mirror, and right here I'm just using an angled blush brush and using one of my e.l.f. palettes. It's one of my favorites. I think it's affordable. It's a $6. Maybe, price vary with location, but it's great. I think the colors are pigmented, they're light, and I use them for my everyday makeup routine. And I just put that, I place it on the, the apple of my cheek, and then I try to work it upwards. And make sure you're always, like I'm right there tapping off the excess powder. Make sure you do that whenever you're putting any kind of powder on your face. So I'm just working it on my apples, on my cheeks, and then I just blend up. And now this is the big fluffy brush that I was telling you about, the same one that I went in with my powder earlier. I'm going to take a little bit more of the same contour palette, and I'm just going to dip that in there and work it right underneath where I just did my my contour to make it look a little bit more sharp, and then dust it over my face. Next is my brows, which I need to tweeze and also do. So what the product that I am using there, that one is Wet n Wild also, and I believe I bought that for under $3. It was about $2 and some change, and I'm just going to use an angled brush of thinner the better, because you can get a more precise line with your brow. And I just dip it back and forth between the dark and the light shade. And then how I do my brows is I start below my brow, and I do that first, and I don't just draw. I try not to just draw a straight line. I try to stop and go, like, so it looks a little bit more natural, and it just doesn't look like one line drawn across my brow. So that's what I like to do, and then I go ahead and just dip it back in for a little bit more. Kind of close the top end of my angle on my brow, and then I'll kind of go along the top line to close it. And then I'll just start filling it in. Sorry about that. I'm kind of a little underneath the weather. I've been, excuse me. I've been under the weather, but I wanted to get this video up, and what I'm doing there is I just take the side of my brush and I kind of just lightly fan it over so I can get that square look, because I typically, you know, I like my eyebrows to have that angle, and I have pretty big natural brows so already, and I just kind of go along the shape of them. And so I went ahead and I just did my other eyebrow, and I edited it out because it was a little bit too long, and I don't know if you guys wanted something that was so long to watch, so please let me know. And if you prefer showing the whole video, I can do that. And what I did there is I just went over my eyelashes with a few coats of Define a Lash by Maybelline mascara, and I think I used about 2 coats, and now I'm going in with one of my favorite matte lip gloss. This one is by NYX, and literally this lip gloss is almost gone because I use it every single day, and I did have a lip liner to go with it, but I ran out. But the great thing about these matte lip glosses is that they all have lip liners to match them pretty much. At least that's what I saw in my store. I need to go back and go get the lip liner, but I still been just using the lip gloss, and I like it a lot. I love the color. I think it's great for an everyday kind of look. It's not too much, and it still gives you that color that you're looking for on your face. And for me, I always just have to go back in with my mascara one more time just to try to get as dark as lashes as I possibly can. And the way I end this video is a little bit awkward, and the reason why is because my boyfriend is in the room right next door sleeping, and I'm not even talking throughout this whole video, and I use a voiceover because I don't want him to hear, and I'm going to do it later on. So in the end of this video, it shuts off awkwardly because I hear him opening up the door, and I'm like, what are you doing? And so that is the end of the video. But what I like to do at the very end, after I'm done doing my makeup, is just looking at myself and trying to touch up anything else that needs to be done. Lip gloss, maybe a little bit mascara, something smudged. And so that's kind of what I do, just making sure. And what I like to do, I don't like to leave my eyelids bare. So what I do on my everyday routine is whatever kind of bronzer I'm using, I'll dip a fluffy brush into the bronzer and I just work that into the crease of my eyelids so my eyes have a little bit more definition. And this is something super quick, super easy. You just really just, you know, work it in there, blend it out, and do that on both sides of the eye, and then you have a little bit more dimension to your face. And this is super quick every day. I mean, I literally do this routine every single day, and especially when I'm going to work. I mean, on the weekends, it's a little bit different. I like to dress it up a little bit, but for the most part, this is my go-to. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and give this a big thumbs up and let me know what you'd like to see below. And that's my awkward ending that I was telling you guys about. But I would love to post more things that you guys would love to see. Thank you for watching and have a great day.